Hello, and welcome to today's edition of Monday Morning Madness. I'm Jan McGee.
And I'm Jean Herensky.
And we are happy to share this week's announcements with you. Before we begin, please note that if you need the phone numbers related to any of our announcements today, you can find them in the Life and Times or on the announcement shows on Channel 900.
Jan, the great DVD courses on world religions returns today, Monday, October the 7th, and will continue weekly every Monday afternoon. The class meets at 1 to 2:30 in the music room. It will start with part 2 of the Mormon series, followed by the Buddha series. Just sign up with Brian in the fitness center. Pastor Frank and Pastor Frida look forward to seeing you there.
Please join us for the Blessing of the Animals, which will take place today, October the 7th, at 2 p.m. in the Centennial Gardens. Pets or no pets, join with your pet or a picture as you give thanks to God for our pets who have blessed us for many lives.
If you have a family member who is living with mental health challenges, you might want to participate in a family support group which meets at 5:30 p.m. this Tuesday, October the 8th, and on the second Tuesday of each month in the Beatitudes room of the Abundant Life Center. This support group is hosted by NAMI, the National Alliance of Mental Illness of Butler County. Additional details you can find in the Life and Times.
Flu vaccines are available for our independent living residents this week. Are you getting yours, Jean?
Yes, I am, but I'm getting it Friday.
You can receive your shot on Wednesday, October the 9th from 11:30 to 1:30 in the Wittenberg Activity Room, or on Tuesday, October the 10th from 7 to 3 in the Abundant Life Center Game Room, and on Friday, October the 11th from 11:30 to 1:30 in Luther Court Activity Room. Please bring your insurance cards with you. New Haven Court residents will receive their shots in New Haven. And the Abundant Life Center personal care and nursing residents will get their shots on their households.
Oh, I hate this, but we have to do it, don't we?
That's right.
Flu vaccines specifically for staff and community volunteers will also be available this week. They can be offered this Wednesday, October the 9th, and Friday, October the 11th, in the first floor of the Abundant Life Center between Brandywine and Mountain Laurel households from 7 to 11 a.m. and 2 to 4 p.m. Note that passive resident volunteers should refer to the flu shot schedule for independent living residents.
Oh, this is going to be good. A presentation on understanding Medicare and will be held this Thursday, October the 10th from 10 to 11 in Shoal Conference Center.
Oh, that's a good one to go to.
Yes.
The Abundant Life Men's Fellowship Ministry, wow, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Meets at 2:30 p.m. this Friday, October the 11th, and on the second Friday of every month in the game room of the Abundant Life Center. This ministry is open to men from our Passavant community and also those from the surrounding communities. So don't forget to mark your calendar and plan to join in. If you need more information, call Al Stoker, whose number is on the 900 channel slide.
Volunteers are needed to transport nursing residents to Sunday nursing in Seaman Chapel. Please call the church office if you can help. God will surely bless you as you serve them.
That's a really neat thing to do, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Christmas is coming. Order your pine wreaths and poinsettias through VNA Home Health and Hospice. To order, use the phone number or the QR code on this slide on Channel 900.
Calling all Passavant community artists, and we certainly have a lot here.
Yes, we do.
Are you interested in supporting the Foundation Benevolent Care on campus? If you created an art piece capturing Christmas or wintry scenes that is not a replica or a copyrighted image, and are you willing to have your art on the front of a greeting card? If yes, please submit your artwork to the front desk by October the 15th. It will be returned to you or via pickup on or before November the 10th. We will be selling packs of cards for $10 to support the benevolent care. For details, see the slide on Channel 900.
That's a wonderful thing. I
Yes,
had
it
the
is.
ones from last year. Fall is a perfect time to venture off campus. Think about taking one or more of the fun and interesting Aspire Wellness Tours. Here's a list of the upcoming trips. On October the 10th is a trip to Moraine for a nature boat cruise.
And October the 26th is a trip to the Long Run Winery.
Yes, and on November the 9th is a trip to the German Christmas market.
And November 16th is a trip to the Hollywood Casino.
And remember, don't forget to call to complete a course registration form in the fitness center to sign up for these trips.
The 2024 Annual Artists Display will take place next week on Friday, October the 18th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Shoal. Setup begins on Thursday afternoon from 3 to 5. Please bring your art to the display marked with your name to Shoal between 3 and 5 on October the 17th or before 9 a.m. on October the 18th. You do not have to stay for the event, but however, please pick up your art by 3 o'clock on Friday, the October the 18th. If you can't be here, I'm sure one of your buddies will help you out.
And don't forget to call Kathy Reed if you want to display anything so that she will know how many pieces you have. And by the way, free confidential Medicare enrollment counseling will be available on October the 24th in the game room. An appointment is required and there are limited spaces. So these appointments are 40 minutes. You must bring your medication card or medication list and your insurance card. These services are delivered by specially trained certified counselors through Butler County Area Aging.
Please see the slide on Channel 900 for additional details and the phone number to call for an appointment.
Okay, here's another one. October is National Physical Therapy Month. A physical therapist evaluates to create a plan for your treatment, reassesses your progress, tests your strength, range of motion and muscles, and examines medical history. If you need that, you need to call 724-452-3492 to schedule an appointment with Michelle, Julie, and Sally.
And the 2 book clubs are now back in action.
Yes.
And they've returned and they meet on the 4th Tuesday of each month in the Christ the Mediator prayer room. For information, call Carolyn for the 1:30 session or Elaine for the 3:30 session. I know there are openings. Their numbers are in the Life and Times.
And Seaman Memorial Church invites you to choose from 3 Sunday services. Worship at New Haven is at 9:15. Worship in Seaman Chapel and also the broadcast live on Channel 900 is at 10:30 a.m. And then there's worship at Wittenberg at 10:45.
And everyone is also welcome to the Passivant Community Gathering Worship and Praise Service in Seaman Memorial Chapel at 2 o'clock. The next one will be Sunday, October the 13th with Pastor Reed Moon. Come and enjoy this exciting worship with hymns and praise and the good news of Jesus.
And don't forget, the bus will pick you up at 1:30. If you need a ride, just put on your porch light.
A Catholic communion service is held on Thursdays at 10:30 a.m. in Seaman Memorial Chapel. Everyone is welcome.
And you can also nourish your spirit with Pastor Frida on Channel 900 on Thursdays at 7, 9, 6, and 10.
A Bible study and hymn sing is held on Thursdays at 1:30 in Seaman Memorial Chapel, led by Pastor Frida and Jim Pfister. They have good times there.
I know. Our campus is getting colorful with all the seasonal decorations around. And it's a great time to either walk or drive around campus to see them. If you see some new decorations, call 724-452-3671. Leave a message with the address. Oh, and this is good.
Yes, save the date to see David from the Sight and Sound Theater's production. It'll be held on Monday, October the 28th at 1 o'clock in Scholl Conference Center. David was known as the master poet, fearless warrior, appointed king, and a man after God's own heart.
This is one of my favorites. I love that Sight and Sound one.
I know.
Oh, and Jan, I know you would like this, so you say this one.
If you knit, crochet, or sew, we could use your help to make the items for charity. The Busy Hand Group meets on Mondays from 1 o'clock to 2 in the Arts and Craft Room, and then over at New Haven from 3 to 4, and now on Wednesday evenings from 6 to 8 in the Craft Room. This past month alone, we donated over 500 hours of volunteer time with the things that we have made.
That's great.
So if you have any questions at all, just give me a call.
And the On the Move exercise class is back at the fitness center. And it's done on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 until 2:45. This class was really helpful to me. It's designed to improve your walking and your balance by using stepping and walking patterns to walk faster and further so that you can be more confident. So don't forget, if you're interested, register for this class in the fitness center.
And for all of you veterans and your wives or spouses, a Veterans Breakfast is held on the third Tuesday of each month at 10 a.m. in the Barron's Inn. Just come and join us.
And also don't forget the Gently Used shop is open on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 3. And they have now their fall and winter lines. So make sure that you come and visit and shop.
And just a reminder, Jean, the gift shop, which I know we both visit, yes, is located in the Abundant Life Center lobby and is open Mondays through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The gift shop carries many of your needs and gifts, and now it also carries Our Care wristbands for resident safety pendants and fine cutlery by Rada. And I bought some of that Rada for a bridal shower I went to.
Oh, it really is nice, isn't it? The gift shop is still looking for volunteers, so if you would like to do that, don't forget to contact Nancy.
The Abundant Life Center Beauty Shop announces its days and hours of operations as following. On Mondays and Tuesdays, hair from 9 to 3 p.m. On Wednesdays, they do hair and nails from 9 to 3. On Thursdays and Fridays, they do hair and facial waxes from 1 to 5. The phone numbers in your life and times, please call for an appointment. They're really good gals.
Yes, they are. And we want to thank you for watching this edition of Monday Morning Madness. If you missed any of the information, you can find it on the Channel 900 slides or in the Life and Times. Please continue to watch 900 throughout the week for daily updates and cancellations. Have a great week, everybody.
Right.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing today? Pretty good? Okay. So thank you for coming to what I know is our first poetry reading. I'm really excited to have everyone here and to add this to our Active Aging Week schedule. So thank you all for coming. Our first performer today is going to be Celia Taylor. So Celia Taylor, you want to come on up? The microphone's ready for you whenever you're ready to go.
All right. This is called a water drop. I am Drippy the water drop. I am falling down, down, plop, into a crowd of others in Conquenessing Creek. I am pushed by others until I'm weak. I have an idea. I'll just hitch a ride. A kayak is coming. I'll stick to its side. I gain my strength until I've ridden the length. Into the Beaver River I hop. I'm pushed faster now. There's no way to stop. Oh my, thundering noise. I'm being flung onto the top of a speeding boat. Oh, please, let me off so I can just float. I roll to the side and am carried aloft. A landing from this location can never be soft. Down I careen to the edge of this scene. I join others moving more slowly until we reach a place far from lowly. There are drops as far as I can see. The mighty Ohio, this just has to be. Put, put, some of us cling to the side of a barge. For this ride to Louisville, there will be no charge. My buddies and I leave and continue our float. This journey option allows us no vote. We're headed for Cairo, Illinois, where in the Mississippi there's no one to annoy. Now we're being rapidly pushed south. We need a ride. We hear a churning. What can it be but a paddle wheel turning? We cling to the side of the craft and work our way from the stern to aft. I get caught in the spray from the wheel and crash on the deck. I rest here knowing that I am only a speck. I smell shrimp, crawfish, red beans, and rice. Oh, how lovely and nice. I hear voices, fast steps, and jazz. This is the best that anyone has. I feel the warmth of the sun's rays. I have come to the end of my days. I will live again in a cloud.
Well done. That was beautiful. Well done. Well done. Our next performer is going to be Joan Gill. Come on up whenever you're ready, Joan. Microphone's ready for you whenever you're ready.
Thank you.
Point this down a little.
On my wake up in the night, I changed my last line. Okay, so mine is Ode to the Color Blue. Our summer skies are mostly blue, and my eyes are blue too. Perhaps from my English and Irish genes, just like bluebirds and bluebells and lavender, and my uniform from World War II scenes. So give thanks and rejoice for winter skies of blue, too.
Yeah. Good job, Joan. That was wonderful. Good job. Alrighty, our next performer up is going to be Nancy Smith. Microphone's ready for you.
Thank you. Joan is a hard act to follow. So, I brought two things to read. One is a poem, and the other I just call amusing, because I just enjoy a thought, or I see a person and I begin to think about that, and then I write it down as amusing. Sorting buttons. Her feet and hands were in constant motion. Sewing and knitting were her devotion. Mittens for winter, dresses in the spring, always something she would bring. Darning socks and mending tears, her forte for years and years. Grandmother Nancy lived with us, and for me, it was a super plus. In her warm and cozy room, I'd bring my dolls and Puppy Boom. She would open her button box and say, "Nancy, why don't you stay to play?" Counting buttons and matching colors, what a wonderful way to while the hours. She mended our socks and patched our tears, hugged and loved us for years and years. When her feet and crippled hands were stilled, my heart was broken, but also filled with memories of needles, thread, love, and more, sorting buttons on my grandmother's floor. As I said before, this is just amusing that I wrote. And I thought about it when I went to put a love stamp on an envelope. Letters are magical words scattered on paper that inform, inspire, amuse, comfort. Letters are connections to people around the world, links to friends and family. How amazing a letter I drop through a mail slot on Monday is picked up by a carrier, taken to the post office, loaded on trucks, flown on airplanes, and then later in the week placed into the mailbox of our daughter, 2,000 miles away. Telephone calls may reach out and touch someone, but for me, letters are a lasting embrace. Slips of paper, plain or fanciful, that can be read again and again, saved and savored. When we were preparing to move to the Pasadena community, I found a shoebox filled with old letters and valentines. Some of the letters were get-well notes written on yellow tablet paper by my 5th grade classmates many years ago. Seeing the names, Lois Jonas, Robert Novak, Kay Comschles, brought me back to Mrs. Fennell's classroom at Jefferson Elementary School. Opening that shoebox of old letters and valentines opened a treasure chest of memories. I fear that in this electronic age of email, texting, and Facebook, our young people will never know the joy that a small stamp can bring, or the satisfaction of writing and receiving letters. During our COVID lockdown, I wrote many notes to friends and family. They weren't long, but I enjoyed sharing my thoughts on a piece of paper, knowing that a few days later those thoughts would hopefully surprise and delight. Journalist Phyllis Thoreau writes, "To send a letter is a good way to go somewhere without moving anything but your heart." And so I say, let's all put some love in the mail today.
Wonderful job, Nancy. Thank you for that. That was beautiful. Next up, we have Alan Schneider. If that needs to be a little higher, you can push it up.
First of all, let me say that all of what you've heard this morning was by students in our writing class, which we hold every other Tuesday, and this coming Tuesday will be one of the classes, and so our teacher asked us to write a poem, and I'd never written a poem before, and so I was thinking what I was going to write, and I was inspired by my neighbor across the street, Angie Hairklotz, who takes monarch butterflies' eggs and then feeds the little pupa with milkweed and raises these wonderful monarch butterflies. But monarch just didn't fit into a poem. It doesn't sound poetic, so I wrote instead about a swallowtail butterfly, and because swallowtail is much more poetic, so here it is. This morning, a swallowtail butterfly swooped past with a beautiful flutterby. On a flower filled with dew, she alit. Then she flew away with a flutter. Goodbye. And then in class we have an assignment, and sometimes we're given things like a photograph, and here's the photograph that this next book, I know you can't see it, but it's a gravestone standing kind of alone in a graveyard. And so we're all given just 7 minutes to write something terrific. And as you can hear, a lot of people have already done that. So this one is entitled Stone Marker. In the graveyard, all alone, I stopped to view the slab of stone, a marker, a remnant of a life well spent, a birth, a death, a family rent apart by a mother's death. How sad, leaving children reared alone by dad.
The one that never wrote poems before we were all astounded.
That was great, Al. Thank you. Thank you. Last up on the list, we have Miss Betty Allen.
Back in April of 23, we were introduced to a kind of poem that I'd never heard about before, and it's called an I Am From poem. And since everybody that I first meet here, the first time they meet me, they'll say, well, you're not from Pennsylvania. Where are you from? You've got a Southern accent. So this poem will tell you more details about where I'm from. And it's a little bit of a long one, but she said that was okay. I am from gentle breezes, wiggling toes in warm grains of blonde sand, and the soothing rhythmic sound of the bay water lapping on the beach, or the crashing of the Atlantic Ocean waves breaking at high tide. I am from the rustling whisper of sea oats on sand dunes, the distinct calling of seagulls searching for mates or food, and the joyous laughter and chattering of children building tall sandcastles, complete with towers and watery moats with pride. I am from yearly hurricane-force winds, evacuations, thunder, lightning, and torrents of rain. I am from floods, destruction, power outages, even deaths that cause much sadness and pain. I am from compassionate family, friends, neighbors, strangers, workers, helpers. I am from the generosity of those coming to rescue others with kind gestures. I am from over 423 years of English people settling just a small part of this great nation. I am from probably over 600 years of indigenous natives who had lived in this tiny part of God's amazing creation. I am from exhausted but excited English colonists shaking with trepidation who first landed on Cape Henry at the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay, Sunday, April 26, 1607. After braving 4 long months of frigid winter winds and rough waves on small creaking wooden sailing ships while traveling on many trepid seas. I am from the same new land named Cape Henry at First Landing State Park, which was documented by the delighted and travel-weary colonists as being filled with fresh waters, fair meadows, and goodly tall trees. I am from colonists who thank God by setting up a wooden cross, which has now been replaced with a granite cross in 1935, at the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay. I am from the same Cape Henry where Easter sunrise services are even now held yearly to commemorate that day. I am from tough, gold-oriented colonists who explored the unknown lower reaches of the Chesapeake Bay and the Lynnhaven River while gazing in awe at natives, flora, and fauna that they saw. I am from those same settled colonists who held the first recorded free election under English common law. I am from waterways where native canoes, colonial settlers, merchant mariners, pirates, including Bluebeard, War of 1812 military ships, Civil War patrols, and modern ships have sailed over countless years. I am from eons of brave, determined, and fearless people who built this American land of freedom while enduring hardships and shedding innumerable lives and tears. I am from ancestors at the first session of the First United States Congress in 1789, who, following a proposal by President George Washington, voted to build the brick Cape Henry Lighthouse to ensure a safe and navigable waterway which still lies where the Atlantic Ocean meets the Chesapeake Bay. I am from the new 1881 Cape Henry Lighthouse that continues to operate and ensure for all a safe and navigable waterway. I am from Virginia Beach, Virginia, where First Landing State Park and Cape Henry provide tourists, residents, and school kids a glimpse of how our great country and state began. I am from the motto, "In God We Trust," which is evidenced by the longevity of the Cape Henry Cross for every American. Now, how many of you have noticed the poems on the front of Life and Times? And how many of you met the lady that wrote them? Oh, not too many new people in here, okay. Well, this was written for her. Her name was Dolores Ruth. This is to honor a person who to many at Passavant seemed obscure, although in truth they've seen her name quite often. Who she is or where she lives, they are not quite sure. She lived at Passavant and was a sweet, humble lady of faith who cared for all. God blessed her with an amazing talent of words and rhyme. In doing so, he inspired her to enrich our lives in many ways. She received this gift, which was a great surprise, during 2009, then promptly wrote a poem describing the event, which is quoted below. Now finally I found my niche, and I am born anew, for God has given me the gift that I now share with you. From that time on, her poems graced most Life and Times news, writing about subjects of interest to all who live at Passavant. Her words helped us realize many blessings of being here we could all choose, and often opened our eyes to many unexpected gifts from above. And the point, that was just a quote from her poem. That was several stanzas, and I didn't bring that one with me. And lately in our class, we've been writing limericks. Okay, limericks were, I might get my year mixed up, became popular around the 1800s or late 1700s. And what they really did was they were rhyming. There were 5 lines, and the first 2 rhymed, the second 2 rhymed, and the last line rhymed with the first 2. And originally, they were written to be funny, but they were also written to say something that a person wouldn't appreciate about different people that the people that wrote them knew. So we did kind of a different slant on ours. We tried to write them with more of a positive ending. And so I've got a few of those, and I wrote some. I've been writing a lot, like when I was in the hospital a couple months ago, I wrote one for almost all my nurses there, and they were just tickled to death. Of course, I had to write them out by hand. I couldn't type them. But anyway, I've written some for some people around here, and there's one that I wrote for someone that everybody knows. She delivers the campus mail. Ode to Anna Marie and Max. Max is my second rescue dog I've had. Actually, the third, if we count another one back in Virginia. There was once a lady named Anna Marie who delivered campus mail with glee. She loved every dog. To her they would jog for a treat bag they would always see. There was also a dog named Max, and strangers he tried to attack. But when Anna came near, he never barked in fear, because he knew her love was exact. They both lived at Passavant and were very content, so they both liked to walk, and at others didn't gawk, as around the campus they went. Are you up for another one?
Yeah, give us another one.
All right, this is, everybody knows Frank Lombardi, right? All right, this is one I wrote for Frank. There once was a guy named Frankie who was definitely tall and lanky. He loved to volunteer, and to others that was clear. On that you could always banky. There also was a dog named Max, and strangers he tried to attack. When Frank came to volunteer, he never barked from fear, because he knew he would get a snack. They both lived in a Passavant cottage, and neither of them went to college, but they both liked to walk, and at others didn't gawk, but strive to pay them homage. I could read, I've got a couple here that were for a nurse. Let me read one of the nurse ones, is that all right? Ode to Amazing Amanda. There once was a nurse named Amazing Amanda. She brought sunshine to patients which made them demand her. A sweet smiling nurse who cared for went home and ate lots of pizza. And if you're up for one more thing, this is a short story, and like Alan already mentioned, we would get pictures or something, and so this one, a class prompt we could choose from was about somebody meeting at a wedding. "Hurry, Sally, we're going to be late for Jenny's wedding," Mom shouted up the stairs. "I'm coming, just need to get shoes on," Sally returned. When Sally appeared, Mom chided her. "Why didn't you wear what I set out for you?" "Sorry, Mom," Sally sarcastically replied. "Did you forget I'm grown now and like to choose my own clothes?" Mom frowned, deciding not to pursue the conversation. "Okay, let's just hurry and get in the car." They were attending the wedding of a cousin who was the first of the group of cousins to get married. Mom said cheerfully, "Maybe you'll meet a handsome young doctor there like the one Jenny's marrying." Then sarcastically, "Although maybe not wearing that outfit." Sally frowned. "I expected you to say something negative like that." As they were in the parking lot, Mom just ignored her again. During the wedding reception, Jenny was happily introducing her cousins to friends of hers and husband David. Sally saw the crowd and edged closer to Jenny. In so doing, she stepped on something that someone had dropped that threw her to the floor. Immediately, strong hands caught her and pulled her upright, asking if she was hurt. As she looked up to answer, she was awestruck by his sincere and concerned-looking sky blue eyes. She became dumbfounded and stuttered, my ankle." And that's the end of that one. Didn't go any further. It's left to your imagination on what happened. I just got out of pool therapy and it's catching up with me. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Betty. Those were great. Let's give it up one more time for all the performers and poets today. Good job, everybody. I just want to thank everyone for coming. I really enjoyed everyone's poetry and their short stories. I think they were really great, so I hope you enjoyed them as well. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you next time.